This Sunday's Gospel seems weirdly appropriate for these strange times we find ourselves in. I never expected we'd be doing the first or any other service of this term online, not able to gather in the chaplaincy as we usually do. We gather online where we are, some on campus, some at home, some in other places. We, like the disciples, are behind closed doors, our interaction with wider society and with each other deliberately limited. Perhaps we can relate to how they felt. They were shut away because they were afraid for their lives, afraid of the reactions of other people. How are you feeling? Some of us might be afraid or worried. Some might be frustrated. Some might be enjoying the solitude. Some might be wondering how this is all going to work out. Some might be lonely. John tells us that the disciples were afraid. I'm sure that's true, but I bet there was a whole mix of other emotions going on in that room as well. The reason Jesus comes and stands among them. This is the evening of the day when Jesus rose, remember, and the doors are locked. So this person who was dead and buried has just come through a locked door to stand in the middle of them. Jesus has been raised from the dead, but he's not just how he was before. His resurrection body can come through locked doors. It's an amazing thing. He shows them his hands and his side so they know it's him. Into that whirl of emotions that they're feeling, Jesus wishes them peace. For their excitement at his resurrection, peace. For their fear about the people and the authorities, peace. For their wondering about what comes next, peace. Thomas isn't with them, and his response is essentially, "Pix or it didn't happen. Prove it. If I can't see him and touch him, I don't believe it." Their story isn't enough. It won't do just to be told. He needs to experience it for himself. I can relate to that. I'm naturally a bit sceptical. I want to see for myself. You all work at academic subjects. You know about evidence and sources and critical thinking. You need to be able to reference things, to verify data, to back up an argument. So too for Thomas, he needs to be able to see and to touch. A week later, they're together again, and Thomas is with them. Jesus comes and stands in their midst, even though the doors are shut. He offers them peace again. Coming to Thomas, he invites him to touch his wounded hands and to put his hand into his side. It's an invitation of amazing intimacy. Jesus comes to Thomas, knowing just what he needs, and offering him exactly that. Though the resurrection body of Jesus can come through locked doors, it's also physical enough to be touched. In one of the clearest statements of who Jesus is in any of the Gospels, Thomas exclaims, "My Lord and my God." Though we cannot today see him or touch him, I believe Jesus is with us. In recognizing that, we are blessed, as Jesus affirmed to Thomas. Jesus meets us where we are and offers us what we need. However we are feeling at this moment, the peace of Christ can be ours. For our fear, for our frustration, for our excitement, for our wondering. Christ offers us that peace which passes all understanding. Amen.